How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming out, been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Hello, Mr. Terry. Welcome to Terrific Terry Tuesday with the trifectas, but again, another laden card over at Ellis Park today. But before we get to Ellis Park, let's rewind a little bit about last night. And then what we had on Emmy Award winner Lenny Schulman wrote the book on Justified. And there he is showing his Emmy at the request of our good friend Terry.
Yeah.
You haven't had a chance to catch that show. When I first tuned in, I was like, wait a minute, is that Lenny Schulman or is that Larry David from
It looked like Larry
Enthusiasm?
David. Yeah, it looked like Larry David to me.
Yeah, I was going to go on there and start cracking some Curb Your Enthusiasm jokes, but I decided against it. But it was a very entertaining show. Went by. It's like a really good movie. You know, when you go see a good movie, it might be a 3-hour movie, but you feel like you've been in there for 20 minutes. So that's kind of how that conversation went last night, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, I really liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. You know, he's got a lot of experiences to share, and I look forward to him coming back. So
Indeed. So make sure if you haven't seen that yet, it's right here on Horse Racing Radar TV. The best way to make sure you don't miss anything is to follow us on all of our social sites. While you're here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit the like buttons, hit the comment section, do all of the things that help us with the algorithm so that we can get there. We're only a few people away from 4,000. So if you haven't subscribed yet, help us hit that milestone. Tonight, when you tune in at 8 p.m. with Mr. Sean and Jamie, they'll have on trainer Tim Geerton. If you remember last night, Jamie had some funny comments, told him to hold off to drinking until the show is over.
yeah,
He's plenty entertaining, so it should be another fun one tonight. And Tim, if you're watching, I encourage you to drink before the show starts so that it can be even more fun.
that's right. Sounds good.
Indeed. I think it'll be another good one for sure. All right. Yesterday, Terry, I don't know what it is. I'd say probably in the last 3 months, 18 times. And that's probably no exaggeration. I've made it to the third race with some nice, to the fourth race with some nice prices in my pick four, only to watch my second, my pick four die on that last leg with one of my picks finishing second. So hopefully one of these days we can reverse that and I'll hit the next 18 when I'm on that final leg and alive.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that kind of sucked yesterday, to be honest with you. I wasn't happy about that at all. But in any case, let's get going today and see if we can find some happiness in this maiden card again at Ellis Park, where the weather looks like it's nice. Fast track, firm turf. What's going on in race one?
Well, it's 1 mile and 16th on the turf. It's maiden claiming 16,000. It's a purse of 25,000. It's for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and up.
And then 1 mile and 16th on the turf, the profile of the winner, the one that you kind of want to look for. They haven't run a whole lot of races yet, 4 races. Yesterday's race went wire to wire, but outside of that, the previous 3 were all won by stalkers and closers. 2 of the winners, including yesterday, came from post 2 and 3. You had one winner from 4 and 7 and another from 8 and out. So I don't think, at least so far, I would say you probably want closers. It doesn't really matter where you are on the track. Terry, we do some simulations here to see if there is some early speed. That's what we have here. We simulate 1,000 races based upon pace figures, calculate what % chance a horse has the lead at the quarter-mile marker. We also do the same thing using speed figures to calculate how often the horse would win those races on those 1,000 simulations. And then finally, something we've crafted on our own C-zone scores based upon how that early pace shapes whether the horse will be comfortable or not at the projected pace. The higher the number, the more likely they are to find the race to their liking. Terry, what do you see in the numbers?
Well, as far as the speed goes, it looks like that 9 has the most speed, that outside horse, but that 3 may have something to say about it. There's 2 or 3 others that show a small amount of speed. The overlay is the 10, which is supposed to be like even money or less than even money.
Yeah, about you have to 1 to 2. That's about
yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he's listed at 2 to 1 on the morning line. And then as far as C-zones, they all have C-zone numbers, but the best ones are that 1, 4, 5, 6, and 8.
Yeah, all the dark green ones. And I joked yesterday that you should make a C-zone trifecta at the end, that last race. And had you taken the top 4, I think, or 5, C-Zone scores in that last race at Ellis Park, you actually would have gotten the trifecta, which is
my pick of the day. I was really excited, although it did run second, but it paid pretty good to place. It was pretty
I
nice.
needed that one to win first. Terry.
Yeah, I did too.
Your pick of the day's got to come home. If it had come home, I would have had that pick 4. The C-Zone man. Yes, indeed. The C-Zone man, Christopher D'Souza in the house. Thanks for good to see you, my man.
Right.
In first race, we also do pace setup because there's all kinds of different handicapping, right? So we try to cover as many angles as we can here. Looking at the shape here, none of the horses really have shown a propensity to take charge and be on the lead at the get-go. That's the E, your pilots. EPs can pilot or co-pilot. Again, none of those in this race. Your Ps are co-pilots. They want to run off the pace right behind the leaders. They don't want to take charge, right? They're followers, not leaders. It's not how you want to raise your kids, folks. You want your kids to be in the E section. PC, those are your versatile horses, or maybe your kids can be here too. They can be anywhere on the field where necessary. Your closers want to come from off the pace. And you have these 3 horses, which have never been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line, at least in their limited races so far. And of course, we don't have any first-time starters up in here today. Just looking at the shape of this race, I'd probably want my favorite pick to be somewhere in the 1, 3, 5, or 9, unless one of these has some incredible late pace numbers that are behind there. Early speed does go to the 3 and the 9, so those 2 should be out front. Everybody else giving chase. That late speed, as we talked about, that 1 horse right in there, Take It South, one of the pressure horses, should be in good position, along with that 10 horse who hasn't finished within 5 lengths. Those 2 should be coming like crazy at the end. And finally, your total pace goes to the 1 horse. But look, you have a whole host of horses right behind it. The 1, the 10, the 5, the 3. Wouldn't be at all shocked if the opener goes to one of them, Terry. What do you say?
Yeah, I think this is a really wide open race. I like the 7, Request for a Proposal, as my top pick, finished 3rd versus similar last race. Has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 50% of the races in the second start with that trainer. And she has a high percentage winning jockey. Her best Burt Turf speed is fast as among today's starters.
One more time. What kind of speed was that? The Burt
Turf.
The Burt
yes.
Turf? It's a new surface. That's that Tapeta down there in Gulfstream that Charles loves. It's the Burt Turf. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, then I like number 10, Goldcrest, my second choice, which is the high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has had 5 wins out of 13 starts, has the highest last speed rating. Breeding suggests she'll like the grass, as her dam has 3 winners for 4 starters. 2 of those were turf winners. 1, Take It South. She has finished in the money in 2 out of 4 races on the turf, has a high percentage winning trainer. My 3rd pick, my long shots, the 5, Mrs. Speaker, drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. My bet is a $1 double, 1, 7, and 10 with a 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to go real quick because they're all about lined up. I like Goldcrest, top last race speed figure, going to drop from that maiden special weight, tied with the 3 for the best turf. The 1 horse, Take It South, another class dropper, slightly better when you look at the race internals last time out from beginning to end. Little Gia, I like when both the trainer and the owner are the same. This horse did tie with the 10 for the top pedigree. Closed last time out, second on grass after trying to go up front earlier in its career. I think going longer today could be a difference maker. And then Request for Proposal didn't run a little bit better fractions last out. A horse that I'm expecting some improvement from. Second up off the layoff, and race number 1, Terry, it looks like they're off. And Mrs. Speaker, the 5 horse, along with the King's Mistress and Mr. Speaker, King's Mistress, and Proud Performer, and Little Gia, a whole bunch of them up there front there. It looks like there's 3 gunning for the lead right now. They went through the opening quarter for a race that's going to be a mile and a 16th, probably a little too fast, I think, in 23 and 7 for this caliber of horse. You're starting to see some of the horses in the back of the pack closing in, including the 10 and the 3. The 10 has moved a little bit ahead of the 3, it looks like, as they start to really gain ground. Second quarter, 47 and 46. So they ran that second one in about 24 seconds. So they got to save a little bit of time there. King's Mistress continues to hold the lead, although you're starting to see a lot of other horses show some late interest in here. The question is, can they get there? The 3 is moving pretty aggressively on the rail there, Terry. On the outside, moving the fastest of them all is My Blue Valentine. I don't know where that guy came from. He just shot out of a dart. And looks like he's going to run away with this race, Mr. Terry. One that neither one of us had on our picks. My Blue Valentine looks like, unless somebody can run this guy down at the end, but I don't know. He's wagging his tail like crazy, but he's not happy to be out on the lead. Looks like the 3 horse is starting to gobble up a lot of ground late. The question is there enough time to catch that? 8, my answer to that question is going to be no. It's going to go 8, 3, and then I think 10. 8, 3, 10 is I think how it went.
Wow.
What in the world was it with that 8 horse, man? Did he get the good hay overnight? What's going on with that one?
Could have. I think he might have.
My Beautiful Valentine. Well, here we did see here. Well, there's a lot of reasons to maybe like this horse there, Terry. Did start off its career at Churchill Downs, maiden claiming 10,000, 100,000. So that's a pretty high caliber race. Didn't really run very well there. Next time out, went to Belterra Park, maiden 16. So this is probably a step up in class. Did show some significant improvement in that first race to second race, particularly early. Again, this is something Craig Makowski told us to be on the lookout for. When you see those early pace numbers improve like that from race to race, it's a sign of a horse getting in better shape. And then you see that it did hold its speed and just faded at the end there. And since then, Terry, that was June 23rd. You see here on July the 26th, not too long ago, the horse did put in a bullet work on the Churchill Downs training track. So a couple of reasons you might have been able to identify that horse. So it went 8, 3, 2, and 4. 8, 3, 2, and 4 in the opener. That's one of the things I like to do, Terry, is go back after a race happens and kind of look to see what did I miss.
Yeah.
And it looks to me like that is something we could have caught there, Terry.
Sounds like it to me.
Race number 1, the 6 to win. Yeah, unfortunately, you did have the 8 in your trifecta box, though. 6, 8, 10. Who came in second, Terry? The 3 horse, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you had 3. 1, 4, 7, 10, and Ellis. Thanks, Blair. Let's move on to race number 2 and see if we can identify the winner in that one, Terry, without needing to go back with 2020 vision. Let's have 2024 vision.
All right,
What are the details for the second race?
Okay, it's a 5 furlong. It's a maiden claiming $30,000 purse. It's for maidens, fillies, and maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds. Again.
Yep. Hello, Laloy. Yeah, so you got a lot of babies here. You have no idea what's going to happen, but we do know that so far 5 furlongs. They've run 3 races. Early Speed has won them all. They've been really pretty close to the pace too. Only one of which went wire to wire, but I think the average horse was like first one was second at the quarter mile marker. None from the rail. You had 1 winner from post 2 and 3, 1 winner from 4 through 7, and 1 winner from 8. Now, again, I don't know that necessarily says post position makes a difference, although I would suspect with this quick early turn that you see over here, Terry, I'd prefer my horse to have inside speed. Unfortunately for us, simulations don't matter because there's not a lot of horses in here that have a lot of experience. But we did do some simulations here. What do you see?
Yeah, the 2 shows the most speed, although the 4 may have something to say about it. The 2 has a decent It's okay. It's what's that, about 4 to 5 versus?
It should be about 1 to 2 again.
Okay, even money.
Yeah.
And then the 4 has a pretty nice overlay, 5 to 2 versus 8 to 1. The 1 and the 7 have the best Z zones, although there's a couple more that show some Z zone numbers.
But they're all weak, right? So, yeah. And then, 2-year-olds, a lot of them haven't really started yet. So you see the 1, the 3, and the 7, they're all first-time starters. Don't know how that guy got a score as a first-time starter, but hell, we'll give him a score, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You see the 2 horse over here did show some speed. Of the horses that did run, the 4 and 5, they didn't really show much. Pretty good advantage over the 4 Sapphire Knights. Green across the board, best early pace, best late pace, best total pace. Again, 3 first-time starters. You do not know what they're going to contribute to this race, but I do know that you're going to contribute your picks.
That's right. I like that 2 Sapphire Knights. She ran 5th as a favorite in her last race, but she has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 24% of the starts when he brings back a beaten favorite to race again. Drops in class today, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 3, Ready for Trouble, is a first-time starter whose dam has 7 winners from 7 starters, and 2 of those were stakes winners. She has a high percentage winning jockey. Number 1, Gone with Wind, is my 3rd pick. Another first-time starter whose dam has 5 winners from 6 starters, and one of those was a stakes winner. She has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 21% of the starts in maiden claiming races. And number 4, Wreck-It Ruby, my long shot, drops in class today, has a decent 4 furlong workout on July 23rd. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4, and I'm going to take a chance and just single the 2. And I'm going to go with the 1-3-6 with the 2-4-7 and end up with the 3-4-5-10. I'm going to bet $10 to win on the 2.
Yeah, he's probably going to go off at something like 1 to 2, I would suspect. The 2-horse Sapphire Knights, I'm not really sold that the horse should be 1-1 morning line favorite, Terry. It regressed in its last 2 races, maybe a little bit. Some hope in there because the fractions were a little bit faster at 5.5 furlongs versus 5 furlongs. Had a couple chances to win. I think 3 already. Hasn't got it yet. Cut back in distance is helpful. I mean, just from that early speed, looks like the horse to beat in here. Autism, Compassion. We saw a horse yesterday that had some good Turfway Park workouts come and win. It was, in fact, I had that horse, the 5 horse that went off and won at to open up the pick 4 at 11-1. And that horse demolished the field off of some solid Turfway Park workouts. So let's see if maybe another Turfway Park, that horse that has some good workouts, can do the same here today. Number 3, Ready for Trouble. That sounds like Terry's teenage years. Decent works and a good schedule of works getting prepped for this race. So he stayed on course and no real big setbacks in there. Finally, Gone with the Wind. Okay, works getting ready. Good news about that one is the closer the horse got to its debut, the better the works are getting. So that shows me that the horse is improving, even if it's on the track, not on the racetrack. I'm going to do a pick 4. I'm going to try to beat the 2 with the 7. Hopefully that Turfway Park angle proves to be an effective one today. The 1-2-6 with the 2-7 with the 5-8, and then I think that's the 10 on the back end. 5, 8, and 10, yes, sir, because I usually try to put them in numerical order. Race number 3, Terry. Well, hold on a second. Let me see if we have any comments because I'm not on that same page. Race number 2. It looks like Christopher D'Souza wants the 1, the 4, 3, exact the trifecta box. And at race number 1, the 1 horse had a good workout. And then race number 2, exact the box 1-2 from our friend, the Big Boopa, who will be here with Terry tomorrow because I will be on the road again. I'll be driving this time tomorrow, Terry. I'll be on I-95 driving from Philadelphia to Tampa.
That's right. You sure will.
From Philly to Florida. That's going to be a hell of a long ride, I think, Terry. I've never made it before. It's like 16 hours, something like that. It's a long one. Anyway, race number 3, Terry, we're going to go back to the turf in a sprint.
That's right. You're on the 5.5 furlongs on the turf with the maiden $40,000 purse. It's for maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds, and up.
Just 2-year-olds. Yes, indeed. So again, you have the babies. You don't know what's going to happen when the gates open, but so far the bias on 5.5 furlong turfs hasn't really favored anything yet. 50-50. It probably leans a little bit towards speed horses, but not a whole lot. If you're going to be a speed horse, you probably want to be on the front because 27 out of 100 so far win wire to wire. There's a little bit of a rail bonus for standout sensation. That's our friend Big Boopa. 2 through 3, those 2 play a little under par. 4 through 7, they get a bonus. They do best. 8 and out so far because of that quick early turn again that we see over here could be a detriment to the horses on the outside. Terry, this time around, we didn't do any simulations, so we're going to go straight to our picks.
Yeah, I like the 6-horse Bella Cruella. She is a first-time starter whose breeding suggests she'll like the grass. And today's sprint, she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey and a bullet workout on July 12th. And then number 3 is my second pick. She finished 3rd versus similar on dirt in her last race, and she may do well trying grass. Has a good 5 furlong workout on July 22nd. And then the number 1 standout sensation is my 3rd pick, another first-time starter whose breeding suggests today's sprint distance will be in her wheelhouse, and she has a good 4 furlong workout on July 21st. I like Bikini Bottom. The 4 is my long shot. The breeding suggests she'll like the grass. She has a high percentage winning trainer. And this jockey trainer combination, last 14 days have won 2 out of 5 starts. I'm going to play a 50-cent trifecta, 1-3-6 with the 1-3-6 with the 1-3-4-6.
Number 6, Bella Cruella. Bella Cruella. Bullet and Go. Again, that's one of my favorite And it proves to be an effective over and over and over again. I think I'm going to start doing some homework on this. Go back and look at all the bullet and goes that I mentioned in my notes over at horseracingtoday.net, where we post our race notes for the show every day, or most days anyway. But that bullet and go is that last workout before the horse goes to the track. It is a bullet. Those horses win at over 15%, according to the homework done by Mr. Barry Meadows. Again, that book, The Skeptical Handicapper, worth the money. Go ahead and get it if you like data. Number 2 for me is the second choice. That is Pray for Champagne. Very consistent work pattern for Pray for Champagne. In fact, if you look at them in total, probably the best collection of works for the first timers. Standout Sensation does get the benefit of that hot rail. Another one that has some pretty good solid training getting up to the debut. Finally, Bikini Bottom. Terry, do you know what Bikini Bottom is?
No, I don't.
That's the home of SpongeBob SquarePants, my friend.
Oh,
Another first timer with decent workouts, getting prepped, and it's a yellow horse like SpongeBob. It's so you got. I mean, it's the SpongeBob reference. Gets the SpongeBob color with good workouts. It's square like SpongeBob. You got to go with SpongeBob there. For me, a $1 trifecta. That's for the little kids, right? And they're not supposed to be watching. So if you're a little kid, don't watch. 1, 2, 6 over to 2, 6 over to 1, 2, 4, 6, and 10 for my trifecta in race number 3. Let's see here. Race number 3, Christopher D'Souza coming in with the one horse in the 1-4 exacta box. He likes the Bikini Bottom as well as Standout Sensation. So another SpongeBob SquarePants. You know, anybody who's got, I would say, kids now that are in their 20s, Terry, maybe a little bit older, but not much, they know who SpongeBob is because the kids were glued to the TV for SpongeBob and Squidward and what was his name? Krusty Krab or whatever his name is.
Krusty Krab.
And I forget the one little guy's name now too, the little devious Plankton. His name was Plankton. There you go. Too much SpongeBob knowledge for a dude that's 57 years old. Terry. No, they didn't watch it. I was watching it, right?
Yep.
All right. In race number 4, Terry, they're going to go back to the dirt. We didn't see this one yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out today.
Yeah, it's a 7-furlong race. It's a claiming race, $30,000 claiming price, $32,000 purse. It's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races, or 3-year-olds fillies.
And at 7 furlongs, again, we did not see the distance yesterday. So what we'll see today, so far there have been 5 races. Of those, Speed has won. 2 of the 5 went wire to wire. So quick 5th grade math. So that's probably not even 5th grade math, but that's 40%. So far, none have won from the rail. 1 won from post 2 and 3. You got a bonus from 4 through 7, none from 8 and out. So it looks like most of them won from 4 through 7, 4 to 5 maybe. So it looks like you want to maybe not be on the rail, maybe not be outside, be somewhere in the middle in that long back stretch. I would say from my experience, though, when you get that long back stretch before the turn, post positions tend to matter not as much as when you hit that turn right away. So we're probably looking for a little bit of inside speed, Terry, but it looks like the fastest of them all is on the outside.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good. It's got a lot of speed there. And so I think that horse may just get to that quarter pole first. As far as the overlay, the 2 has a small overlay. Supposed to be like 6 to 5, and it's listed at about 7 to 5 or 8 to 5. And then the 1, 4, and 2 have the best C-zone numbers.
Yeah, and the 4 here scoring out pretty well on the simulation odds too. Half of the 10-1 morning line odds. So yeah, interesting to see. One thing you note here, the 6-horse scratching, everybody else does have some percentage of getting to the front. So wouldn't be shocked at all to see most of them move forward out of the gates. As we look at our race shape here, you have the 3, the 5, and the 7. Pressure horses, again, none of them really want to be on the lead. They haven't shown that they want to be the pilot. They want to be co-pilots. So the pilot could be that Sunday Grace, just like the simulation says, though a lot of company from everybody except the 3-horse Ball Gown. And then Sunday Grace really does tail off at the end. Otherwise, everybody else is in pretty similar zip code, late speed-wise. Maybe these 2 down here, Sonodor and Rock the Nile, a touch behind the rest, but not a whole lot. As far as our total pace is concerned, minus Sunday Grace, the horse that could get to the lead and maybe with proper fractions can steal this thing. but everybody else is within 6 points of each other. That's my definition from a pace standpoint of a wide open race, Terry. Do you see it playing out that way?
Well, I like a closer, the number 2 Shell Shock. She finished third versus Tougher in her last race. She drops the class today. As a trainer, wins 27% of the starts in claiming races that she has an entry in, or he has an entry in. And her best start speed as fastest among today's starters is actually tied. The 7 is my second choice. She finished third in her last race, has the highest last speed rating. Sonador is the 4, is my third pick. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She's actually tied with the 2 horse, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then my long shot is the 1 horse Rock the Nile. She won 2 out of the last 4 starts. She finished second in her last, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. I'm going to play a 50-cent trifecta. I'm going to use the 247 with the 247 with the 1-2-4-7.
I am going to go ahead and start with the 2-7 combination early up too, Terry. You're in my computer again. Shell Shock down in class in the third start after a layoff. And this third one should look a lot like the first 2, which were probably good enough to get the job done here. Lamasco, that 7 horse, did run the top last race speed figure, but it really wasn't too much of a stretch of anything the horse has done before because a really consistent performer. And then you have a couple of maintenance workouts in between. So I expect a very similar effort that we've seen in the other races. Number 5, Sunday Grace, does have all that early speed there, Terry. And that last race, when you look at the past performance, looks like a mess on paper, all over the track. But when you check out the internals, you dig a little bit deeper, they were better from start to finish. So if that horse gets to the lead, who knows? Maybe it might have a little bit of something at the end. Finally, number 4, Sonador is a sim overlay in here from that 10-1 morning line down to 5. And another one where the race internal showed improvement from the gate to the wire. So perhaps another improvement here today with a very strong C-zone score. I'm going to do the try 2-7, 2-5-7 over to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 as part of my $100 budget today at Ellis Park in Henderson, Kentucky. Race 5, Terry, we go back to another maiden race. Again, it's been a collection of maiden races the last couple of days. Hold on one second, my friend here. Race 5, okay, JT Brew. We got all the turf plays here. Good luck to everyone. Good luck to JT, our in-house turf expert. My fraternity brother, Brett Calhoun. How about that? We didn't know that. From Texas Tech, has a couple in today on the turf. Race 3, number 1, Standout Sensation. Race 5, and number 1, Sotana. Did not know that. Do you stay in touch with him, JT, in terms of if he's got some really good stuff coming out? Race number 4, he likes the 5 horse with the speed. I do. It doesn't mean that they'll win. Of course not. We don't, but definitely be supporting the totes. Yeah. One thing we've learned in this business, Terry, how long have you been in horse racing?
60-some years.
60-some years. And in those 60-some years, how many times have you thought to yourself, man, this horse can't miss? And boy, did it miss.
Yeah, I had a lot of times like that, but one particularly was really bad. So, and I'll tell that story some other day, but it was really, really taught me a lesson.
A little bit of a kick to the shins.
That's right.
Maybe a little higher than the shins, but we won't go there today either. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times stuff, and it seems like every mistake you make works against you, right? You leave a horse off your ticket, of course, it's the winner. You switch a horse off your ticket, of course, it's the winner. You switch a horse onto your ticket, it's never the winner. So it's just the nature of this game. But we're going to change that in race number 5, Terry. They're going to do what in race number 5?
Well, in race 5, they're going to be 5.5 furlongs and turf again. It's a maiden $70,000 purse, and it's for maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds.
Yeah, again, and anything can happen sort of race with the babies. So far at 5.5 furlongs, if we said, there's really not been an advantage to being up front or in the back, although more than 25% of the horses do win on the lead. You do get a little bit of a rail bonus, so Tona maybe going to get the edge there. 2, 3 play a little under par. Maybe you don't want to be there. 4 through 7 have done the best, and 8 and out, Terry, is where you get the biggest drop off in terms of performance. And of course, you and I, there's a horrible post position, and yet without any simulation, no data, because you got a bunch of first-time starters in here, Terry. We both go ahead and say, you know what? Screw the anti-bias. We're going to go straight out there to number 10, Song of Norway.
That's right. Song of Norway. She's a first-time starter whose breeding suits today's distance, and she's trained by Wesley Ward. Number 4, Pinto's Little Girl. She finished third versus similar on dirt in her last 2 races. Her breeding suggests she'll like the grass, and she can improve with blinkers added today. Third pick is number 3, Joke Master. Her breeding suggests she'll like the grass, as her dam has 2 winners from 3 starters with the turf winner. And she has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days have been in the money 7 out of 13 times, winning 5 of those. My long shot's Candy Landy, the 5. She is a first-time starter who has a high percentage winning trainer and a jockey. And also she has a decent workout on July 23rd. I'm going to try that $3 turf pick again. I'm going to use the 4 and 10 in this race with the 3, 4, 8 and finish up with a single of the 3.
I am going to start off with that 10 horse too. I mean, you got a turf sprint. You got Wesley Ward. You know the horse is going to come out blazing. Chantel Sutherland told us that when you ride a Wesley Ward horse, when they come out, you better hold on for dear life because they tend to pop out of those gates with a lot of force. The workouts are good. It's going to break sharply. I don't like the post. Number 5, Candy Landy, strong turf breeding, has some very good works that stayed on schedule, something I learned from Charles. Give him a little bit of credit where credit's due. He's got to get one thing right in his life, Terry. Number 8, Saltwater Taffy. Do you like that, Terry?
I do, yeah.
I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here. This horse was well bet in its debut. Maybe a little freaked out early on in the race because it got brushed, a little bit crowded, so maybe a little bit hesitant. Didn't really want to run there. Had by far the best workouts before the debut. Looked like the best horse on paper. Maybe a cleaner start, and you'll see that those workouts translate to the track. Number 4, Pinos, Little Girl. Ooh, you got to be careful with that. Top last race, speed figure in the last race there, Terry. Plenty of early pace. The question here is moving over the grass for the first time. I'm going to do trifecta 5, 8, 10 with the 5, 10 with the 3, 4, 5, 8, and 10 horse in the 5th race. Hoping for that price horse in there, that 10 horse to come, that 8 horse to come home for me off of the maybe a little bit of shyness when the race started. Let's see. Haven't seen him in a while, but we go back to the mid 80s at Texas Tech. Yeah, it was a good time. Big, are you a Texas Tech? Isn't that the home of Patrick Mahomes? Does that make you a huge KC Chiefs fan right now? I remember when he was running cheap claimers at Sam Houston, just trying to make it, follow his dreams. He's a great story. I mean, if you still have some connections to him, JT, we'd love to have him on our show, have him tell the story, the horse center at night. Heck, we'd even write an article about him if he wants. Go put it over on horseracingtoday.net. I know he's a top-notch trainer and he's probably very busy, but if we could bring him on, we'd love to have him on as a guest. There's no question about that at all. In the 6th race, Terry, we went through we're going to go to race 6 now, right?
That's right. Race number 6.
Race number 6. So
right.
In the 6th race, we get a bunch of babies again. It looks like to me here, Terry, perhaps. Yes, indeed we do. What's the story this time around?
It's a 6 furlong race. It's a purse of $70,000 for maidens. And it's for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and upward.
So at 6 furlongs, this is probably the distance where bias has been the most prominent for early speed. So far, 50% of the horses that get to the lead never gave it up. Strong rail bias for Rendezvous. I don't know that the workouts necessarily say it'll be able to take advantage of those. And 8 and out also get a pretty good pop. 2 and 3 penalized, so you probably don't want horses that they get that 2 or 3 apron. And then 4 through 7 play fair, so not as scary. So you want that barbell, either inside or outside. You want some speed, Terry. Unfortunately, in race number 6, once again, we don't really have a chance to do a lot of work because most of these horses are going to try it for the first time.
Yeah, I like the 5 Ruby Tap. She finished 3rd versus Tupper in her last race. Dropped some class today. Is trained by Steve Asmussen. Number 9 is my second pick, Fiesta Besta. She is a first-time starter who has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 22% of the starts in sprint races he has horses entered in. And this horse has a good workout on the 22nd of July. 10, Port Townsend's my 3rd pick, has a high percentage winning trainer and has a good 4 furlong workout on July 21st. And then I like number 12, Flashy Lash. She is a first-time starter who has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, who in the last 14 days has won 4 out of 5 races. I think it's a pretty wide open race. I'm probably a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 5, 6, 9, 10, and 12 with the 3, 4, 5, and 8 with the 2, 7 and finish up with the 3 as my single.
So Orlando, you know what's funny? When I first saw these, like, what the hell are these things on the bottom there? But for whatever reason, it doesn't show up as an emoji. So Orlando Rivero put in the purple eye crying emoji there. And if you want to know what horses to fade the rest of the way, here you have the Big Boopa's pick 4. He's going to go all. There he goes, Charles. Way to handicap, bud. With the 4 or 5, it's actually handicapping if you ask my opinion. You can't make up your mind. You got to press that all button. With the 4, 5, 6, and 8, and then he's going to single up the 4 and single up the 3. So Terry and he singling up the 3 on the back end. So I don't know what that means. It means you're probably going to get 1 to 2 odds, and you better have something big up front. In the 6th race, maybe something big does hit. Fiesta Besta, again, another one of those bullet and go horses. But if you look at all of the workouts are pretty fast. So that bullet's not shocking at all. Ruby Tap, this one improved a lot from its first start to its second start. If the horse can make a similar improvement here, that would be more than good enough to get the W. The 12 horse, Flashy Lass. You got Brad Cox trainee. He's a top-notch trainer here. Good breeding and solid works. Not the fastest it works, but pretty consistent. Above average works. We'll go there. And then finally, this is Flyer Tuesday for me, Terry, because I'm going to take another one here with the 11 horse Musical Mischief. It was decently bet in its debut. It flashed by far the most early speed, but at the back end of the race folded. The works have been blazing since that race, including 2 bullets and 1 at 5 furlongs. So that tells me that by going 5 furlongs, they're trying to put more stamina in this horse. Probably would have preferred a 5 furlong race for the 11. But if it can bust out to that early speed that it showed in its debut, it's going to have a pretty good lead on most of these horses. And if it finds its legs in its second start, look out. 4, 5, pick 4, 5, 9, 11, 12, 1, 8 with the 1, 2, 4 with the 3, 8, and 9. And I don't think there's any way for you and I to get through this because, the 8 horse, the 2 horse, yes, we can work our way through this together, but that would be totally dependent on the 8 horse winning the second race there.
That's right.
He knows the Brewer brothers, riding Roof Crew with my big brother at Tech in 1985. Red Raider Nation, for sure. I'd had to be fun to go to a big school like that. I went to a small school for wrestling in college and then went to a smaller school afterwards to become a broadcast journalist. I actually had a job lined up to go work at CNN with Nick Charles and Fred Hickman on their version of ESPN. But unfortunately, the first Gulf War broke out right as like 2 days before I was supposed to fly down to Atlanta. And then they had a hiring freeze. Then I went in the brokerage business in the boiler room environment, and that was a little too wild. But that was a lot of fun there. Race number 6, Charles B says the 2 horse is going to get that one. Rita's on the beach. Hopefully, Rita is appropriately dressed on the beach. And race number 2 is about to come up there, Terry. So before we go on to race number 2, that's why I'm stalling a little bit. Today, our free track of the day is FanDuel Sportsbook, one that I think we'll do pretty well at today. Looking at, again, in the first race, we have another best bet. Wasn't as strong as that 5-1 shot. I don't know how that one did yesterday, Flowers with Lisa. But Jersey Jet should get the best of it in race number 1 at FanDuel coming up at about 1 o'clock Eastern. So that first race should be done already, Mr. Terry.
Yeah.
And let's see, they're all lined up now for race number 2 at almost. We're waiting for half the field to get into the gates. The 4 horses about to go in. They're all going in professionally here in race number 2. In the race number 2, as far as your odds are concerned, the 2 horse, that 1-1 morning line is 3-5. So according to our simulation odds, even at 3-5, a little bit of value in that horse deal.
And
next
yesterday,
up, go ahead.
I was going to say, and yesterday at Mountaineer, the 5 did win. Flowers for Lisa, paid $5. So,
and I told you, you can pay for your flowers for your girl if her name is indeed Lisa. So how about that? A best bet that won there. And oh my God, that 2 horse Terry just he went off at a different speed than everybody else there. He's off. Excuse me. Till about a 1 and a 2.5 length link, though. He gave it up pretty quick, though. The 4 and the 7 are on his tail, Terry, as they go through the turn. The 5 horses, well, 7 horses moving pretty good on the outside. I think it's kind of tough to go 3 wide, to be honest with you, through a short sprint all the way around the track and bring that race home. The 2 horse remains your horse on the lead with a steady hold. At 7 horses, done. So he's going to finish dead last. This horse race looks like it belongs to the 2 horse, although the 5 horse is probably going to come up with Tonic and Gin and maybe give this one a little bit of a problem. I don't know that that's the case. Everybody else is banging around in the back. This 2 horse is just going to run away with this one, Terry, at 3-5. Again, according to our simulated odds, the horse got to the lead, scored the lead. 1-2 odds would have been fair. You got 3-5. So it went 2, 3, 4. It looks like, Terry. 2, 3, and 4 is how race number 2 ended. So, Terry, you could have had the trifecta there as well, but you did single up to 2 in your pick 4, and you did bet him to win.
I did. It was my bet of the day here. I was, but of course, he didn't pay a lot, but that's fine. It's better than getting a poke in the eye.
Man, telling that smoke messed me up a couple of weeks, that week ago, but the allergy is still trying to cough all that stuff out. Definitely better than a kick in the shin. So let's see. Win, play, show on the 2 horse. Yes, indeed, that came in. Charles hit to try in race 1 at Ellis. Beautiful. And in pick 4 for JT, a little bit late, but the 2 horse, everybody had it with the 1, 3, 10, with the 2, 7, with the 1, 3, 7, and 10. Hopefully we can all make our way home now on the rest of this pick 4 at whatever combination works for all of us. Let's hope we come home with that. So we got 3 races to go, right, Terry? Race number 7, 8, and 9.
That's right.
So let's go ahead to lucky race number 7 and talk about what they'll be doing.
All right. It's a mile and 16th on the turf. It's a maiden race again, $70,000 purse. It's for maiden fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward.
Again, a mile and a 16th. I always like to look at the profile of the winner to get a sense of what it takes to win a race. For this maiden special weight, 70,000. Only 4 races again. One of them was yesterday. That race went wire to wire. The others were stalkers and closers. And I think in race number 1, we did the same thing, right? We went a mile and 16th on the turf. And if I remember correctly, in that race, a horse did come from off the pace to win, Terry. I don't think it was up front, right? Let's see.
You're right.
And who won race number 1? What's the number again? It was the 8 horse, right? Yes, the 8 horse came from off the pace. Well, he wasn't really off he was kind of mid pack, but it's still an outside post. So, any case, so far you want to have stalkers or closers seem to be the best, and it does look like 8 and out or on the inside. They've done well too. So, getting a little bit of a picture of what it might take to win at a mile and a 16th on the turf, Terry. As far as our simulations for race number 7, we see that, well, the main speed scratched out, so that really opens the door for Pelican Lane to be tough to catch.
That's right. So that 8 does have lots of speed compared to the rest of the horses. The 4 has a small overlay, 6-1 versus 8-1 in the morning line, and the 4, 6, 12 have the best C-zone numbers.
So let's see, Motil Sire 2, gone. Such a good, promising first crop sire. What it had for 1 in the Derby next year, that would be good, Mitole. Yeah, it would be nice to see some new. I mean, you can only see so many Mr. Prospectors in there, right? Or something along those lines. Dang spell. Yeah, I know I hate spell check. Sometimes it does. So my daughter is away. So I forgot what I was telling her on texting, just staying in touch like a dad would do. And I texted something and it was like, when is your, and I don't know what word I was trying to type, but it put in death while she was on the airplane. And I was like, wait a minute, what is that? You can't put that in there. No. So yeah, but fortunately nothing happened and nothing is going to happen. I don't believe in that sort of stuff, but I was like, I don't know how that got in there. Any case, looking at that race shape for race number 7, we do see, look at that, Terry, that 6 horse over there. Words of Praise, all by itself as a potential lone E type. You got a whole host of them, 5 of them that haven't been close yet and haven't made it within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line as of yet. Got a quartet of closers. So really, from this shape, if somehow the 6 can get off to the front and run easy fractions, would have a shot to win, which is probably not going to happen. The 8 horse Pelican Lane does have that early speed. That makes it a left arrow horse, Terry. And if you remember yesterday in the final race, that 8-horse in a very similar race shape, Terry, was a closer that had some early speed. That Left Arrow horse went on to win at a high price. Pelican Lane maybe can repeat that with the 8-horse again today. If you're looking for late speed, like our good friend Christopher D'Souza, Catherine Blaze will be right there. But there's that Pelican Lane again, Terry, with that early speed. Also some pretty good late juice as well. Our total pace numbers say Pelican Lane, Midvale. Those two are much better than the rest of the crowd, which is pretty tightly packed. So maybe the 1 or 8, put those in your exactas or trifectas in a wheel and see what happens there, Terry. What did you do?
I like the 8 Pelican Lane. She finished third versus Tupper in her last race, drops a class today, has a high percentage winning jockey, and she has a good 4 furlong workout on July 21st. Then I like 3 Letter of Gold. She can improve with Lasix and blinkers added. Number 4, the Roan Runner. Is my third pick, drops in class today. Her dam has 1 winner from 2 starters, no turf winners though, and a trainer who wins 20% of the races when taking a horse from dirt to turf. And then my long shots of 5, Sun Valley Road. She drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer. She may do well while trying the grass, as her dam has 4 winners from 8 starters and 1 turf winner. And the trainer in the last 14 days, horses have won 6 out of 9 starts. I'm not going to make a bet in this race. I'm going to save it for the last race.
I have the 8-horse in here, as we saw in that total pace. Does grade out as the best horse. Going to go long for the first time, so it should accentuate that speed. Third start after a layoff, and last time out, the horse showed better pace early and better pace at the end. So hopefully that end trend continues here. Midvale, the 1-horse, did run a Z pattern in its last race. That was way back in October, so it's been on the sidelines since then. But does have a blistering fast workout at Keeneland. 4 furlongs, 46-2. So I expect you'll see some pace out of this horse. And the addition of First Lasix should help it maintain its stamina through the final strides to the finish line. The Roan Runner, the 4-horse, was a tough call for me to put in this spot over the 13, but was way better against across the board with its pace numbers last time out. 2 maintenance workouts between races, and I think there's some opportunity for the horse to improve in its second race after a layoff and its second race on the grass. Then finally, Catherine Blaze. Again, another day of taking flyers for me here. Z pattern in its last race, strong early, strong late race and betterment, and you'll see that improve. And I'm not so sure, to be honest with you, Terry, because that horse was 50-1 morning line. And I don't know if that's necessarily what the odds maker makes. I know usually when it's 99-1, that's an indication that they don't think the horse is going to run. But I don't know that with one of the top jockeys on there, well, one of the better jockeys anyway, Walter Rodriguez, that really they meant 50-1 because all the numbers kind of fit with a lot of the other ones in here. So maybe they did mean it to be 50-1, or maybe they just really didn't expect this horse to run today, and that's why it got in there. It was a tough call for me over to 3, to be honest with you. Trifecta 1, 4, 8 with the 1, 8 with the 1, 3, 4, 8, and 13. 2 races to go, Terry.
Yep.
And the best play of the day. Hold on a second in here. Charles B. Best play of the day. Race number 7. He's going to go with the 12-horse. Autism Community. That horse get some DMR last year. Key shipper Wong claim. Yeah, he's a good trainer too, Jonathan Wong. JT Brew, Midvale, this Brendan Walsh only horse in today. So this one should, you think that one's going to do pretty, I think that one has a good shot to do well too when you look at those workouts in there. So maybe you do a 12-1 exacta right there box. Christopher D'Souza likes the 13 with the 3 exacta box. So maybe 12, 1, 13, and 3. Put those 4 together, maybe with the 8 in your trifecta, and maybe you got something right there, Terry. Collective thinking, the wisdom of multiple brains. Race number 8, one of the last 2 races to go, Terry. They're going to go another 6 furlongs again. This is the marquee race of the day.
Yeah, and it's an allowance race, $74,000 purse with fillies and fillies 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races. Pretty simple.
Yep, nice purse there, $74,000. At 6 furlongs, as we've mentioned, speed is probably the most prominent at this race. 6 furlongs, 50% of the time they go wire to wire. Strong rail bias, 8 and out, also pretty good bias. 2 through 3 get penalized. 4 and 7 play fair. And heck, if you're betting out in the mountain time zone, right, the race goes off at 2:22. Everybody better load up on that 2-horse for this race. A little bit too much numerology for me, Terry. Does the 2-horse show any speed in here to give us a shot at it? No, it's the only one with no speed. Go.
That's right. The one has the most speed and the benefit of that rail, and then the 3 comes in second. So the 4 has a very small overlay, which is just over even money, maybe 6-5 versus 7-5 or something like that. And then all of them but the 3 show pretty nice C-zone numbers.
Yes, indeed they do. This is a race shape here, Terry, that intrigued me in race number 8 because everybody wants to be, for the most part, on the front or pressuring it. So you got the 1, 4, and 5 as your maybe lead dependent horses. And of those, Miss Arlington looks like it's the fastest. The 3-horse, Everdeen, should be right in there too in that mix. So pushing up that tempo. But if you look, everybody but the 2 and the 8. So most of these horses can really get on the gas out of the gate. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick tempo here. If it's a quick tempo, it could favor horses with late pace. American Retro, although it shows it wants to be an E horse, should be part of the lead. So maybe doesn't get discouraged if it's not on front. With that 7-point late pace advantage, does grade out as your top total pace horse. And it and Miss Arlington well above the next crew, 10 points down. And then there's a little bit of drop out of that. So if it were me from a total pace standpoint, I'd be focused on the 1 and 4, picking the one I think is the better of the 2. And it looks like we both settled on the 4-horse.
Yeah, I like American Retro. She's won her last race at Churchill Downs, has a high percentage winning trainer, and her best dirt speed is fastest one today's starters. Yesterday, the 2 finished second in her last race, has a high percentage winning jockey. The 3 is my third pick, drops in class today. My long shot is that one, Miss Arlington. She finished third versus similar in her last race, and the rail post is winning at a 29% clip. No bet in this race for me.
So what you call a long shot, Terry, is a best bet for Christopher D'Souza. He likes the 1-horse up there to win.
All right.
With the 184 exacta and trifecta box. I like that 1-horse too. You know, and the 4-horse did concern me a touch because it is coming off the maiden special weight win. All 3 of its races have been highly consistent. Did not run the top last race speed figure, winning the maiden. And again, in that book from Barry Meadows, The Skeptical Handicapper, when a horse is moving up from that maiden win, one of the things you want to see more often than not is the top last race speed figure. Since that race, though, American Retro does have 25 furlongs of good workouts, so should be fit to try to make it 2 W's in a row. The 2-horse yesterday, as we showed in the pace setup, so a lot of speed up front, flew at the end of its last race, which was the first time at Ellis Park. I don't know if going from 6.5 to 6 furlongs is the best plan, though. Miss Arlington rides the hot rail, can make huge mid moves, much better fractions last out. And then the 8-horse, Terry, excuse me, better late with stronger fractions in its first race off a layoff. The only other time the horse made it 2 races in a row, it regressed a little bit, Terry. My bet. Tell us, everybody, my bet while I cough.
Oh, it was when you didn't bet Rich Strike. Is that what you're talking about?
My bet, actually. 1, 2, 4 with the 2-4.
Oh,
1, 2, 4, 5, and 8.
I thought you were talking about something else.
No, I'm
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it was about that Canadian smoke last time. I don't know what they put in their smoke last time out, but man, did it clog me up with my allergies. Final race of the day, Terry, is race number 9. They're going to run a distance today we didn't see yesterday or yet so far today.
Yeah, well, it's 1 1/8 on the turf. It's another maiden race with a $70,000 purse. It's for maidens, 3-year-olds, and upward.
And in 1 1/8, 3 races so far. Closers won them all. 2 of the wins came from the rail, so maybe testimony time will outrun those 30-1 morning line odds. And the other win came from post 4 through 7. So you want closers, Terry, in race number 9. If that changes today, the 5-horse might be the one that go wire to wire.
Yeah, the 5 shows the most speed. If it get out there and doesn't get pressured, may just go wire to wire. And that 5 also has a really nice overlay. It's supposed to be 7-2, and it's listed at 20-1 in the morning line. The 8 has an overlay. It's supposed to be just under even money, and it's listed at 7-2. The 8 has the best C-zone number. That's about it. Well, it's pretty good C-zone number too.
So let's take a look for the last time today at the pace shape of this race. Look at that 8-horse out there, Terry. I know closers have won every one so far, but you have the 8-horse standing out there as the lone E type, but maybe the 5 to put a little bit of pressure on him. Of those that have finished within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line, most of them want to be closers, Terry. So if that 8-horse indeed does have some early speed, could be one that's difficult to deal with. But look at all that. Plenty of pace in there. So that 5-horse crossing might actually get the best early trip. Looking at the late speed, you got, looks like 4 of them that stand out above the rest, the 2, the 9, the 6, and the 8. Of only which the 2-horse fits into that never close category. But that one could be way, way off the pace at the start and still, even with a lot of late legs, not make it within 5 lengths of the leader. And then finally, Archie the Giza does grade out with crossing, surface to air. Again, look at this, Terry. Mine all the way down to about here. Everybody's within a few points of each other. So this last race should be competitive. The race shape should favor horses that are middle forward. So I'd be looking for horses with some closing ability in here somewhere. So maybe that 5-horse might be the one to beat, Terry. What do you think?
Well,
and neither one of us have him at 20-1 morning line with the big overlay.
He's my first alternate. But anyway, the 3 is my horse in here, Grand Aspen. Ran second versus Similar in his last race, which is the high percentage winning jockey. He has a nice workout on July 21st. Number 8, Surface to Air, is my second choice. Ran second versus Tougher on the dirt in his last race. Drops in class today and has the highest last speed rating. Number 6, Qualified, is my third pick. Finished third versus Tougher in his last race. Drops in class today and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. The 9, Archie the Giza, is my long shot. He drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and blinkers are added today to keep his mind on business. I'm going to bet a $3 exacta, the 3 with the 8, and then I'm going to take $10 to win on number 3.
Let's see right here. In race number 7, Blair likes the 7-horse Retrospect in there as one of his bets of the day there. And then in race number 9, Christopher D'Souza, the 8-horse to win with the 826 exacta trifecta box. Charles B likes that 5-horse in the final race there, the one that we talked about, not having in any of our picks there, except at the back end. It is my first alternate too, making it into the back end of my trifecta too. I like in the final race of the day, Grand Aspen just missed in its last race. That's our good friend Chris Parmalu, his favorite betting handicapping angle, the horse that finished second in the maiden race. The prior start only has 1 horse to beat this time around. Does have some fast work, so showing some signs of improvement between races. Surface to Air, again, another one of my favorite combinations when you see the comments in the past performances. Ran the top last race speed figure, gonna drop in class. And so far, when you look through the speed figures, probably been the best performer in the group. Archie the Giza was well bet last time out. This one's going to be rolling late in all likelihood. And in between starts, this shows some of its best work. So maybe a horse that's improving on the practice track will bring it from the range to the first tee this time around. Finally, Qualified, improved plenty after switching from turf to dirt. The breeding is definitely there for this. And what's a tough call for me over that 5-horse crossing, that long shot? I got to try 3-8-9 with the 3-8, with the 3-5, 6, 8, and 9 to close out our picks today at Ellis Park. Hopefully today I make it to the final leg, and my final horse actually comes through on the pick 4. Terry, here are all of our selections at Ellis Park for today. Once again, tomorrow, Terry will be back. Let's see, we have some. You go get another one, another one right here where we have our emojis that we don't know what they are. The gray horse that ran with the 7 ran good yesterday. Indeed, much improved today. Dynamic duo is back starting tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Tomorrow, Charles and Terry, the dynamic duo. We both know that Terry is Batman and Charles is Robin. There's no question about that. And, of course, I would be the Joker, I suppose. They'll be back tomorrow. They'll be actually here for the next 6 shows. So tomorrow and Thursday, they'll do Saratoga, get started about 10 minutes or so before post. And then I'm not quite sure what they'll do Monday and Tuesday of next week because of the parks not running. If something, we'll make up our minds. Terry will let me know. We'll post all of that on our social sites below. You see scrolling, and horse race, the number 2 day, horse race number 2 day. And of course, if you subscribe while you're on YouTube, hit the like button and all that good stuff, you'll be notified when they go live, so you know exactly what tracks they're going to do, because we'll post that about a half an hour before going live. Again, tonight, make sure you tune in for Jamie and Sean at 8 p.m. Eastern. Jamie makes an oath and a pledge that the guest tonight will definitely be entertaining. All right, Terry, I think that wraps it up for today. Any final thoughts before you get up and out of here? I get up and out of here, and I fly out to Philly so that I can drive
only thing
1,100 miles or something.
I want to say that Charles B said, just don't leave out the 12 and 13 and race 7, both draw off of also eligible good bettors value race. So there you go. And then everybody have a great day. Don't what was I trying to say here? Don't get too hot. It's been cooling down in this area, so that's nice for me and for everybody around here. And just have a great day. Let all your loved ones and friends know how you feel about them, especially if you love them.
Indeed. Well, if you don't love them, maybe you can lie so that they feel better about themselves, Terry. No question about it. Shock them, right? In any case, folks, no matter what you're doing today. So race number 3, the 2-horse for Catholic Boy, is the sire for Charles B there. So keep an eye on that coming up in race number 3. Both have the 2-horse. I have the 2-horse in my picks. Terry does not. So looking, I'll be gone until not next week, but the following week. So I certainly do appreciate everybody joining us. I'll be there in the background, making sure that all the data and stuff is available. Just won't be able to be here during show times till we get back together again between here and there, and to the time Charles and Terry arrive tomorrow, or Jamie and Sean tonight. No matter what you do, we certainly hope you have God's grace, God's favor, and that no matter what you do between here and there, every single thing you do ends up in the
winner's circle.
Again, thanks for joining us again today. I'm sure Charles and Terry, the dynamic duo of Batman Terry and Robin Charles, looking forward to seeing you. Have a fantastic day.